The Match Ball.
Hello there, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the match ball for the Carabao Cup game against Shrewsbury Town. Yeah. Not Willie Nonto.
We wouldn't be playing against Willie Nonto. We might be soon,
yeah.
Yeah, if he gets a big move to the draw for the Carabao Cup is supposed to be taking place. We might find out his next destination.
That's exciting, isn't it? Yeah, hello, welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, who will offer you a 10% discount on your legal fees.
You will, you probate your conveyancing.
Is that the three things that you would choose out of all their services that they do?
They do all them all, don't they? But yeah, they're the best ones.
Dan, Michael and Moscow with you here on the Match Ball Live. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. If you're on this, if you're listening afterwards, TSB Plus members get exclusive access to the live stream after the games. And we are through to next round of the Cup, which is good, isn't it? But it feels like there's other stuff swirling around Leeds United at the minute that's not so good.
It's quite a concerning situation as I was leaving the stadium and walking here along the side of the ice hockey stadium because the fire door was open. It's a warm night and I'm a little bit worried that they were letting the cold air out and the rink will melt.
Oh no. Is that how it works?
You can't have that.
Yeah, there'll be a number of people who will be tuning into this who won't have seen or indeed just heard the game.
Heard about the soft drink. They won't have heard about the soft drink.
Have you got a soft drink?
No, but there's one on Bobby Collins Way, impending, unless somebody closes that door. I'll let you carry on.
Right, thank you.
A soft drink? I thought you were saying soft drink.
A soft
drink. I see now, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, if you're thinking the bad news we might be talking about is the Max Aarons thing, no. Yeah. That was the pre-game bad news. This is the post-game bad news. I went
and got a bit of food before the game and then hot-footed it down from the White Rose Centre, which is just up the road, a couple of miles up the road, and then went to the game. And by the time I was at the White Rose Centre, all the bad news had dropped, and that was about Max Aarons doing a U-turn and heading off to
like Usher
to Bournemouth. Yeah, Bournemouth were not sorry.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. So came down to the ground. Thought that was the end of the bad news for tonight, and it's not Willie Nonto.
And then we got booed off at half time against the Salop.
Well, come on, let's talk about this and let's get into the football side of it. What did you make of the first half? I thought it was fairly terrible.
I hated it. I hated the formation. I hated where everyone was playing. Blech.
Because Ampadu was in the back four and we lost his presence in midfield because you saw the changes at half time, which shifted Ampadu into midfield, and we looked much better and got a grip on the game.
I mean, Ampadu was fine in defence, don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel like we had a huge amount of ideas.
No.
It was just, it felt like we'd never played that before and no one knew where anyone would be for getting it out. So we were trying to play it out of defence, but then there weren't really wide options. And then occasionally Dan James would come really short, but then it was too short, so you couldn't pass to him. Luke Ayling was our furthest player forward. The whole thing felt bad.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it, the League Cup, where you put out a side that you feel is going to have just about enough to get through. It never feels like there's that intent to go out there and absolutely wallop somebody.
Well, I mean, this team sort of had more than just enough, particularly with the first choice. It wasn't the first choice in midfield in the end. It started when you saw the lineup and it's Ampadu and Gray, and you think, well, we're just sticking with the best two, working on the partnership from the Cardiff game, and then turned out Ampadu was in defence and Gray was actually at number 10. So it was nothing like how it was. So on paper, when it was published, we think, oh, we're going to absolutely batter the Shrews, and then as it's unfolded, I don't know. It was nice to see Shackleton back in his natural habitat, because that was the thing that everybody thought from the lineup. It's going to be Ayling at centre back, Shackleton right back, and then Ampadu in midfield. But no, building the team around Shackleton, put him in his rightful midfield position, and then everybody else has to. It's Ampadu, the new boy, has to play in a different place. So that was nice, a bit of a pecking order restored.
Yeah,
didn't really work though, unfortunately.
No, and I guess the other thing we got to look at is a chance to see how Darko JB would perform in the first team as well. I'm going to say didn't really pull up any trees.
We were asking him to play very deep though.
Yeah, and we were asking Archie Gray to play very far forward. So the two things were a bit.
It felt like we were. I mean, he was dishing out his fair amount of hospital passes too, but it felt like he was both receiving and giving very difficult passes the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know how he's managed to upset Carl Darlow in like the 2 weeks that they've been together, but yeah, it was just before half time when Darlow kept just pinging the ball to him at the edge of the penalty area.
I was going to say, Carl Darlow's a very confident young man, isn't he?
He's got a lot of faith. Well, he's either got a lot of faith in the young players around him, or he just already hates the guts and like wants to see them suffer.
Yeah, some of the passers had a bit of a "you fucking do it" air about him. It's just like, go on then, dickhead.
Which was quite interesting because he started the night. Obviously, people are quite excited about Carl Darlow because they're quite bored of Meslier, and he caught a corner, didn't he, at the start, and he got applauded as if he was like the Dino Zoff had descended, and then by half time, everyone was like, "The fuck are you doing? Got Meslier back, he can pass."
Just talking about the younger players who were getting a chance in the first half, yelled at as well. I mean, there's some bloke who's a few rows in front of me, absolutely berating him.
Hot news!
What?
Salford away. I've got the draw. I've got the draw on in front of me.
The Matthew Smith derby.
You were advocating bringing him back the other day, weren't you?
Still time.
The Katana Berardi site of that goal, wasn't it? The Salford.
Will he be cup tied?
Who Katana Berardi?
Matt Smith.
Yeah, probably.
In fact, yeah, he will, because I got the alert that he came on as a substitute in whoever they were beating last night. So
yeah, I was just saying,
we'll just use him in the league.
Bloke a few rows in front of me was absolutely berating, yelled at every time he turned back round when he clearly didn't have the confidence to play the forward passes because it was very tight and compact in that area down our left, their right. For whatever reason, I don't know if it is down to a lack of confidence or ability or whatever it was. And he kept just turning back and passing to the centre half. And every time he did it, he was getting absolutely hammered by this bloke in front. Felt sorry for him.
I did too, but he did kind of need to stop.
Yeah.
was my thought when he went off at half time. And I know the formation all shifted, but when Byram came on, he just instantly started running forward with the ball every time he got it. And he'd pass it and then he'd go on an overlap. And it just felt like we had a lot more dynamism as soon as he came on, which I know it's unfair because he wasn't playing as a left-sided centre-back. He was playing as a left-back at that point. But the change I thought was needed.
The goal looked like a Yelder problem, particularly when there was a space. I thought, because he got drawn in, somebody was running through the middle, weren't they? Well, it was Taylor Perry. He's got a very celebrity-ish name.
Sounds like somebody should be in Aerosmith.
Well, he does, and then there's an actor called Tyler Perry, and so he's a vowel away from that. He's got one too many, and yeah, this is the
kind of searing analysis that you get on this show.
And as he was running through the middle, there was somebody running down the right wing, and Yelder didn't seem to know he was there, so he ran towards Taylor Perry, and I thought, oh, he's going to play in that winger, and instead, Taylor Perry just ran around the outside of Yelder. Which was probably even worse than just playing it to the unmarked winger and then shot. And did it go in off Yelder? Was it like
it was pretty heavily
just
deflected.
A bad night all round? Really, isn't it?
Darlow got a hand to it as well. He saved it into the net by the looks of it.
Right. I think it pinged off the post.
Yeah, he saved it onto the post and it went in. Yeah.
That's not a save.
Wait, he saved it onto the post.
Saved it into the back of the net.
The post popped up at the post and popped it in.
It's weird. Just thinking, people listening to this may be getting fresh information because they've not seen it.
What, the game?
Yeah, because it wasn't on any internet.
I think it may have been in the end because ESPN were picking it up for broadcast in Mexico. So, resource for our Mexican viewers or our viewers in Mexico may have seen as much as anyone else. So there was certainly something out there in the ether. You tune a satellite, point your satellite at Mexico, and you square reel and receive those pictures. But yeah, so they've probably seen more of it than any of us. But they were breaking the law to do so. So we can't have that. And yeah, Yelder, I don't know what to do about him apart from just not put him in the team and hope he gets better.
Yeah, I think Byram will start the next game, won't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll be just festooned with fullbacks soon when this maximum Aaron's turns up, when he realises what a horrible place Bournemouth is and goes, no, actually I prefer another 45 games of Championship football instead of the Premier League.
Yeah. We can't have anything nice, can we, at this football?
We won the game.
No, I just meant just when you think, oh, do you know what, we've turned a corner. Everybody was getting all really anxious about the lack of movement in the transfer market. Then you get Rodon gets announced and then that gets usurped by Max Aaron. Do you think
that has not been announced yet?
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I actually did remark to the bloke who sits next to me. I said, what if Rodon watches this and then he changes his mind? That first half, obviously.
Yeah, just because Fabrizio Romano has said something might happen in the future does not mean it has happened.
I think Fabrizio Romano gobbing off seemed to interfere with Gvardiol's transfer to Man City, didn't it? And that got put on the back burner for a bit until they resolved whatever issues Fabrizio caused, the big loudmouth.
Anyway,
back to the game.
We don't need to worry about any of that. We won. We beat Shrewsbury in the end. They got booed off at half-time. Everything was a bit meh. But it seems like all we have to do in every game. Maybe we shouldn't start Sam Byram. Or actually, if we do start him, we don't concede and then we just score and win. Because every time we've brought him on, goals follow.
There is a bit of a sense of frustration at Farke's football, Farke ball, if that's what we're going to call it, the early stages of it. And we have to acknowledge it is only the early stages of it. I'm not criticising it in any way, shape or form. But when we don't have the players in and the personnel to make it work, and they do that thing that Yelda kept doing, which was to turn back inside, pass it across, they'd come back across, and they'd ping it into the deep line midfield, it'd come back again. When there's no penetration, when they're not getting through the lines, people are finding it frustrating. And it's going to take time to bed in, I think.
There was a bit in the first half where the crowd were getting a bit uneasy, but then we also did just keep it for ages and then go up the other end, and I think it finished with Gray putting a shot over the bar.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well,
we've taken care of possession. Yeah.
There you go.
There were two ways of finishing. We either ended up with a chance or we ended up with like a lazy touch and then had to stop Shrewsbury having a chance.
The first half was very sloppy, wasn't it? I felt like JB and Shackleton gave it away a lot. There were a couple of times it just got kicked out of play. I hated it.
But then
I just wanted it to stop.
The same kind of stuff. 80th minute, everybody's olaying.
Yeah.
So it's game state.
I was just going to say game state. Yeah,
I think the hitch at the moment with the way it was in the first half is you're looking at Jan Poveda and Daniel James, and you're thinking, here are some amazing wingers. Take somebody on. Whereas it does seem to be the idea is to work it inside, maybe following some of Jesse Marsh's idioms or instructions that the goal frame is in the centre of the court. So it would be nice. You'd think, and it started happening more in the second half, Dan James just take them down the outside and beat them. But instead
he didn't really have the room to do it though in the first half. That was the thing. There were always two men near him.
It was a 5-3-2 from the Shrews, and that doesn't create a lot of space at the back. So I think... And then the other problem is trying to get us through that 5-3-2 and trying to be the person that Shackleton and Darko JB were playing into, and the wings as well, was Archie Gray as a 10, with then Joe Gelhardt as the target player, who is also not really he'd probably rather be doing what Archie was doing. And it was noticeable, I think, that when Archie Gray moved deeper back to being an 8 in the second half, where he could see the game in front of him, he looked a lot better. I think him trying to kind of be Pablo Hernandez, because that's the only person who's ever been good in that position for Leeds, or Samuel Saiz is just not. He's 12, isn't he? So asking him to have the game breaking nous and ability of a 32-year-old prime Pablo Hernandez was a bit much. But then on the other hand, it's only Shrewsbury, so if Archie Gray can't unlock a League One defence, then we may as well just sell him.
I mean, he didn't really get much of the ball, did he, in the first half? That was the problem.
No.
We struggled to get it beyond the kind of back five and midfield. It felt like in the first half. So he was very good second half, though. I thought
Yes.
there was one bit in particular where he had the ball on the edge of the box, and everyone went because he looked like he was under pressure, and he just
Darlow would absolutely just put him in a world of pain.
yeah, but he just span away from the person who was on him and just went, yeah, fine.
Blinded by his teeth. I must turn away from this situation. Bless him. I thought he did really well tonight, Archie Gray. He looked composed again when he found himself under...
second half he was beautiful. First half he looks a bit lost. It was all just falling apart.
Just knocking things on the floor. Just talking about that, the five at the back, one of the things I noticed, when the Olays did start towards the end, it's dead funny, isn't it? Because so what they were clearly doing, their game plan was to sit back, absorb pressure, then try and hit us on the break. But I was thinking, you're 2-1 down, lads, and you've got less than 10 minutes to salvage this. But they weren't really pressing us, and we were just like passing it around. I thought we could quite conceivably just see the game out here, passing it around at the back for 10 minutes.
Yeah, which I think, I don't think Farke is averse to that idea. Like, one of the thing with attack being the best form of defence, or possession being the best form of defence, is you don't necessarily have to go all out. It's just like, if we've got the ball, they can't score, so just don't give it away in a stupid position. Byram was very good for that. In fact, towards the end of the game, after Cody Drama had come on as a left winger, and he was.
I was confused by that. For a while, I was like, "Are we playing with 2 left backs?" Because he came on and seems to just stand at left back as well as Sam Byram.
I think he was a bit of also because we had 7 minutes of stoppage time. It's like let's just make some changes, and he obviously short time to impress somebody, whether it's Farke or Borussia Dortmund, wanted to attack, and Bate was doing that as well. Bate looked great when he came on for 5 minutes because he was getting the ball and bombing forward, and he's like, I really want to show that I'm a good player.
Yeah.
And so Drama did that at one point and then passed it back to Byram, and Byram's just like, sorry, mate, this is going back to Strauch. And he turned around and he's like, yeah, good. Good for getting it up, but I'm taking it back again because we're not doing this.
There was somebody in the rough vicinity where I was sat who was shouting, forward, forward, when we were 2-1 up with 1 minute left left to play, like trying to take unnecessary risks and possibly concede a goal. But it was funny that when it got to that late stage, and I know when Bate found that himself in those acres of space, if you looked at the actual shape of the game, I was going to call them Southampton then. Shrewsbury had kind of lost all their shape. They still had their formation, but they'd lost their kind of marking abilities. They just kind of abandoned that. And so we had like Bate was just standing in the gap, and so Paveda kept just dropping into that gap between the defence and the midfield. So we had quite a lot of joy, didn't we, late on?
There was a bit of a bottle chuck from their coach towards the end. I don't think he was happy with what they were doing.
Was it a big glass 2-litre bottle? Just loving it.
I mean, also by the end, bringing on a player of Sinisterra's quality in a game like that's a bit unfair, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure he'll want to leave in a minute as well. Can't have anything nice.
Oh, we scored 2 goals though, so we haven't talked about the goals. Gelhardt, it was
a sublime finish.
It was great. They all count, don't they? And anything that helps his confidence, I'm glad to see him scoring a goal. Who had the shot? It was
Paveda, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Paveda after we'd put a high ball into Jamie Shackleton in the box. And
it worked.
Yeah, chest control brought it down. We we were sort of missing somebody to hold the ball up in the penalty area and get players around him. Shackleton can do anything. And then, Paveda shot. Was it saved? It was saved, wasn't it? And then Gelhardt
was there.
Was hit.
Well, do you know what?
Still counts.
As much as we're laughing at the finish, which did just bounce off him for the benefit of anybody who obviously didn't see it, it just bounced off his torso and went towards the goal. But they count.
Pretty sure it was knee. So it was good. So it's leg. And
I'm going to claim thigh.
It counts exactly the same as that show Pony Beckham from the halfway line, doesn't it? Don't count any more than that.
And we saw Sinisterra kind of swishing through defender after defender. Where does he put the ball? Over. Maybe it would have been better if he'd kind of flicked it up into the air and kneed it in. But so good. And then actually the best finish of the night was Pascal Strauch.
Another goal from a corner.
We're getting quite good at that now.
50% of our goals.
It helps if you take good corners. Do you notice that? That helps.
Who took that corner?
Dan James was taking a lot.
Okay, I can't remember who took the one.
Not quite sure.
Yeah, because it was beneath. Well, the player was above the roof from where I was sitting.
He's talking about what Shax was up to. Reese is just asking in the comments what position was he playing in the second half. He was far better than. He was basically pushed a bit further forward. He was almost like a wide right midfielder pushing up towards attack.
Yeah, him and Archie Gray seem to have not swapped position because the whole formation changed, but Gray dropped deep and Shaq went forward.
Yeah, and Ampadu was everywhere.
Yeah, Ampadu was great. I have to say. I don't know the stats, but he must have had like twice as many touches as anyone else on the pitch, I would say.
He's looking like a very astute signing, isn't he?
If there's a problem, he'll solve it.
Just talking about midfield, Jim is in the comments asking, where is Dallas? It's in Texas. Is Dallas, Jim?
He was talked about in Farke's last press conference, wasn't he, where he just basically said, no time frame, no pressure on him. He's been out for too long and the injury was too bad to sort of start saying, we'll get him back at any point. But he said he's inspiring the lads by just being in the gym. Mm-hmm. If you're a young player and you're in a gym and you see Stuart Dallas there.
Just stand there admiring a strapping man in his 30s.
Yeah, so why not? He always looks quite mournful to me. I don't know if I'd necessarily feel inspired by it. I always, whenever I see Stuart Dallas, I want to ask him if he's all right. So I don't know if that's maybe the thing, is that perhaps all the young players, if they're a bit, Leo Hjelder's a bit worried about his first 2 games, but he can project all his worries onto Stuart Dallas. Like, Stuart, are you all right? Like,
Leo Hjelder does look like a young man carrying a lot of weight on his shoulders.
He's got his father's name to live up to. Mm-hmm. Teammate briefly overlapped with Alfie Haaland at Nottingham Forest, and he was all right Rotherham last season by all reports. Everyone seems to say he coped fine with the Championship there. Maybe he's not played the kind of football that Farke wants. Maybe he's just having a bad week. So it wouldn't be a problem if he wasn't our only left back. Well, Sam Byram obviously is the one. I think that was the worry about watching him kind of underwhelm and watching Darko JB kind of be a bit underwhelming, was that they're very close to being the first team.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Like this wasn't a million miles away from being a team that we might conceivably have no choice but to play in the first
all the
division.
games, in all the games.
Yeah. But, we can beat a League One side, and there are 3 of those who've come up, and a lot of teams in this division that should have gone down. So we'll be fine. 15th at least with the slot.
Good crowd tonight, I thought. 35,000 more than, which is bloody good. School holidays and all that. It's a chance for kids and people who don't normally get tickets to get inside Ellen Road and see what it's all about and moan incessantly at Yelder passing the ball backwards and booing him.
Yeah, I must admit, there's been a lot of moaning. Well, not a lot of moaning, but I've seen a fair few people on Twitter going, "Oh, no one wants these tickets now." No, it's not Premier League.
It was like people did. They turned up.
It did. It's a very good crowd. It's not many years ago that would have been like 12,000 people there.
Yeah.
So, it's nice that there's some interest.
You all got the chance to boo them off at half time. That's what you want from your first trip or your rare trip to Elland Road.
It does go to show, though, that the Bielsa era lit a fire back under the fan base that's still there. And I think that's why there's a bit of anxiety among the fans about what's going on in the transfer market, and they're desperate for 49ers to aggressively tackle the transfer market and all that, just so we can still harness that good feeling, that and keep the momentum going. We've had a bit of a blip, we got relegated, but it's still there if they can just seize the day, if you like.
Yeah, because if we do finish, 15th for 3 years running, there will be 12,000 people there again for games like this, because people will be like, rubbish.
Keep it cheerful.
I was going to say about the crowd, although the crowd was, it was good, it still has that kind of, it's that weird, it goes back to what I was saying before, kind of a slightly doing just enough feeling about it, like the crowd that's in for a League Cup game, it kind of strips out all the jeopardy, because you don't really know, with the greatest respect to Shrewsbury, don't know much about them, you don't know much about the players, so you're kind of relying on Leeds United to provide all the entertainment and take the occasion by the scruff of the neck and do something with it. But then when you see them kind of passing it around and not really knowing how to get through a tightly packed defence, people getting a little bit frustrated. Like, the atmosphere wasn't particularly good, but it was just nice to see a big crowd.
It's always a strange atmosphere though for cup games, because like you say, there's a lot of kids there who kind of don't know the ropes, if you know what I mean, and there's people scattered about the stadium, maybe spaces they're not normally in. Like, I was northwest corner today because I'd forgotten to buy my ticket, so I ended up in there.
Forgot to buy my ticket.
Well, I'd forgotten to buy my season ticket when it was available, and then I came to buy another, and there's still seats available in the Cop, and I thought, lovely sit down.
Having a nice day out.
Let's have a lovely sit down to watch this one.
And what was different in your match going experience? Because when's the last time you didn't sit in your Cop seat?
Long time ago. Yeah. Could have been the Accrington game when Berardi. I sat with you in the East Stand, didn't I, when Berardi did that 2-footed chop.
That's 2014.
Yeah,
that's a long time ago. So report from the northwest corner, please.
Very civilised.
Yeah.
Yeah, wooden seat, but more leg room. Didn't have a drink at half time, but wasn't a queue.
Mm-hmm. Has it got carpet down now? Toilets, hand dryers, all that sort of thing?
Carpet in the toilet? You have a savage eye.
I meant carpets, toilets, not together.
Okay.
Jeez. Imagine the carpets in a football stadium toilet. Dear Lord. Oh, no, thank you.
Jesus, the smell. No queue to get in.
Did you have access to the captain's lounge? That's in that corner, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I know people refer to it as the captain's lounge. I was not quite sure what to expect from that. I wanted it to be nautical in some way.
I think there's maybe a bit of wood panelling.
Oh, okay.
House of Stouts is mentioning that the game 11 years ago against Shrewsbury in roughly the same time, it was second round tie, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we played them last, which was the 11th of August 2012. So, 11 years ago, almost to the day, just over 18,000 there. So we've essentially doubled the crowd.
What was the team?
I wasn't in my seat for that either. I was in the West Stand for that.
Varney played. That's all you need to know.
Joof played. I think it was Joof's debut, that game, if I remember correctly.
We've had a rough old life, haven't we?
Back to tonight then. Come on, let's have a quick chat about that. Wrap it up.
We won.
We did win.
We've not. It's our first win.
I've tried, but then you started going on about, we're going to be 15th for 3 years and stay in the championship for 9.
Yes, we haven't won a game since April.
We have now.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Should we do that more often?
It went on a bit. I don't know if we necessarily needed 7 minutes of stoppage time. I suppose the game was quite close. I couldn't quite work out where it came from. Ayling did well.
Substitutions, mate.
I suppose so. Ayling did well getting that
and
guy...
Cramp as well, Cramp.
Getting that guy booked in like the 3rd minute because he didn't immediately retreat at for a free kick. So Ayling booted it at him and then said to the ref, "You have to book him now." And out came the yellow card.
Here's a wonderful fact. Thank you very much to, is it Robert Dignam or Dynam? You tell me, Robert, who suggests that Sam Byron played that day as well.
Oh, I bet he did.
What a fact that is.
Little Sam has done nothing Sam can't do. He's a time traveller as well.
But yeah, so nice to get through, nice to get a win. Like you said, it's hard to get that emotionally invested in these occasions, isn't it? But you take every win when it comes, given that they've been so scarce for Leeds recently.
Salford away as well, that's winnable.
Looking it up, do you want the team from 2012? Paddy Kenny, Lee Peltier, Jason Pearce, Rudy Austin, A.D. White, bring him home, Sam Byram. Name the captain.
No.
Brownie?
Close.
Tongy?
Greeny?
Close.
Norrisy?
So David Norris captain, Paul Green, Luke Varney, Luciano Becchio, Ross McCormack, and then the substitutes, Jamie Ashton, Adam Drury, Paddy Kisnorbo, Michael Brown came on with 4 minutes left, Andy Gray.
Wow, there you go.
El Hadj Diouf came on.
And
we're
playing his child. That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, any other final thoughts about the game then, before I ask you about Willie Nonto?
What happened in the second half? Joffy still struggles, doesn't he? Playing that position. I know he scored, but I still think we should just buy a striker or maybe two.
Yeah, the thing that would have helped Joffy tonight, because Farker has got 2 options. He likes to play with a 10. That's why Archie was there. But he could also play with 2 centre forwards and so that's his other option. But he ain't got to. I suppose he could have played. Sonny Perkins was on the bench. We could have played him.
Is he a centre forward or is he more of a number 10? Or what?
I think he's a centre forward. He scores like goals, doesn't he? So that's good. And I'm sure he wouldn't object to trying to play in a front 2 with Gelhardt. So I think Joffy's been, that was the thing. Sunderland will play you with, what was that guy called? Ross Stewart. And he decided to knacker his Achilles rather than even go on a pitch with Joe Gelhardt. So that didn't work. So he just had to play on his own up front, injured, as their one of the directors said at the end of the season. Apparently he'd been playing with an injury because he's all they had. And now, he's still just kind of...
it's the same sort of situation again, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
Yep. So
no other options. He's playing up front on his own. But
he's not getting any help.
It's just not quite clicking for him. It never does it? It never seems to quite click for him, even though he does some really, occasionally some really nice stuff.
He seems to just spend a lot of time running as quick as he can to something that he's never going to get to. Like when defenders are passing it around.
Is that trying too hard, do you think? Like trying to make an impression?
He's like, I'm applying pressure here.
It's like he's trapped in a bad dream, always chasing something you can't catch.
Yeah, but sometimes I think, well, you're not going to get there, so just calm down. Save your energy. That's what I'd do.
What do we do about Willie?
If anyone wants a mug.
How many have we got left?
Only 1 or 2, so if you want one, get one quick.
Move quickly.
Get one really bloody quickly.
Yeah.
Squareball.net.
Collector's items.
Yeah, I mean, they're still nice mugs, and it's a great memory of a great goal.
I'm going to take them to his house and toss them through his windows.
Well, he's not gone yet.
No,
but we know what happens. We know what happens from here, though, don't we?
The headline.
In fact, I do hope we make him stay. Actually,
yeah, the headline for the Daily Mail says Leeds winger Willie Gnonto asks to be left out. It's in capitals of squad for Carabao Cup tie as he seeks move away from Elland Road. But the Championship remain adamant they don't want to sell. So we've got EFL backing that he's.
That's twice you've made that joke now. Then I'm not having it.
Only once is on in front of our audience, though. The other times it was only to you two and your opinions. Like, the fact that you didn't like it did not stop me. It's still good.
Well, Willie Nonto, there'll be time to make comment on this, said Farker, but not currently. Doesn't want to make it a story. It's not available, but not through injury. So we all know, reading between the lines, what that's about then. That is a man angling for a move, is it not? It's a boy angling for a move. He's only young.
The agent, presumably, will be a grown-up.
That's
of some
true.
kind. So hopefully there will be some. I mean, maybe there aren't any adults involved. Maybe it's like an episode of Press Gang where they've
Another one for the kids and that international audience.
his entire the agency is just run by children. You know those TV shows where they just say, "What if
Yeah.
this company was run by kids?" Maybe that's the agency that he
That's
signed
it.
up with.
Every good film, book, story always is centered around a single question, isn't it? What would happen if?
Yeah, and it's Bugsy Malone, but with a football agency, and they're so you've got all these 8-year-old kids in big wide brim hats smoking cigars, saying, "Who are we going to sell Will Nonto to? What can we do with him? Tell that fucker he's not playing him tonight."
Do you know that's probably it?
I think you've got it there.
I'm going to tweet that, and then they'll have to stop it because I'll go full Fabrizio, and they'll be like, "Oh no, the secret's out."
Right.
So that's happening, and then Max Aarons has decided that he likes living near the sea, so Norwich, Bournemouth, and that's fine. Can't compete with the Premier League clubs, can we? I think the thing with
bit sad though, isn't it? That
it is a bit sad, a bit annoying, especially because if he was due in Leeds, well, actually, I've seen some people saying he was in Leeds, so I don't know how far down the line of the kind of the Dan James process they got with him, whether he was sitting in a duffel coat in the East Stand. Those shots of Dan James in his duffel coat in the East Stand when we nearly signed him the first time always reminded me of that photo of the little monkey in a coat in IKEA.
Yeah. I know exactly the picture you mean.
Seeing sadly staring out the window.
If I Google monkey coat IKEA, will I find
it'll
it?
come up straight away.
It was very popular a while ago. Just gazing sadly out the window and just like nobody really knows why he's wearing such a big coat or what he's doing there or why he's been abandoned in a shop window, literally.
I just looked at the picture now, it's brilliant.
So Max Aarons
It is as well.
has, don't know how far he got along those lines, but that means, is there a backup plan? Because if you get somebody who's actually in the building, you go to all the other like 17 fullbacks that you've been talking to, go, lads, it's fine, forget it, so do what you want, and they'll be like, right, fine, well, we're not going to Leeds then, and now we've got to go crawling back to somebody.
IKEA, this is knowyourmeme.com, suggests that IKEA monkey is the nickname given to a Japanese snow macaque named Darwin that was found loose wearing a coat at a Canadian IKEA store in December of 2012.
It's basically identical to how he ended up signing Dan James. He was just loose in a coat. And
there's an IKEA not too far away from Ellen Road. It's only a few miles up the motorway, isn't it?
We brought him in.
We should stop talking because we've gone way off piste.
You're talking about transfers.
Whatever. Sort it out.
Can the IKEA monkey play left back?
Big Swedish signing.
It's an option.
We shall see, eh? We've got
Maybe Dan James can play left back.
Weekly show and Phil to come still this week, previewing Birmingham, the Tyler Roberts plate. So
he may not be playing. There's already talk that he's had some problems in pre-season with his fitness.
Who's that? Sorry,
Tyler Roberts.
Oh, bless him.
No.
As Leeds put, surely only Leeds were so optimistic at 2:00 about our transfers to this at 11:00 at night.
Well, we won the game though, didn't we? We played a football match and won it. Don't know what more we can ask of football team. If the executives can't do paperwork and sign footballers, then that's a different kind of problem, isn't it? I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's just different.
We're going to stop.
Game.
We're going to stop now.
You won't stop me booking a hotel for Wembley though.
It's on, isn't it?
I'm going to get straight on now.
Who else plays for Salford?
Stop looking. HMS pissed the league. Set sail again on Saturday at Birmingham, and this is the Wembley Cup run, is it?
Yep.
Good
Does
stuff.
Robbie Gotts play for him?
This is the question, isn't it?
Because he was there tonight. I saw him. He walked past me.
I mean, the £16 tickets brings everybody
Dead little he is. Really small.
out. So let's find out who did they play last night.
Google on your own time. That's the end of the show.
So they beat Salford on penalties. They had in their
He's doing
team
it again. Nobody cares.
Luke Garbutt plays for Salford City. Alex Cairns in goal. And on the bench was Matthew Smith, obviously. Can't see Robbie Gotts anywhere.
Well, no, he was there tonight. He was at the Leeds game.
But this game was last night.
Oh, okay, fine.
So it's fine.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Just letting you know the building alarm comes on soon.
And Andrew Hughes. Oh, no, that's Preston.
Oh, is it Barrow? Of course he is.
Right, stop now. Enough. I'm going to have to turn your microphones off.
Why don't we talk about Barrow for a bit? Let's see who's in Barrow's squad.
Nuclear submarines in Barrow. That's the end of the show. We'll see you soon.
The Match Ball.